I almost didn't go to the dinner. My brother insisted it was important, saying the whole family deserved to celebrate together. That alone felt unusual. For years, I had become the relative people called only after decisions had already been made. Invitations usually arrived after everyone else had agreed on something. When I walked into the dining room, champagne bottles already covered the table. Smiles seemed rehearsed. My brother, Daniel, stood at the center with the confidence of someone expecting applause. He lifted his glass. "I sold the Ocean Estate today," he announced. $4.5 million. Everyone here gets a share." The room erupted, glasses touched. Laughter echoed through the house. My mother cried happy tears. My uncle slapped Daniel on the back, calling him the man who finally united the family. Then envelopes appeared. Inside each one was a bank transfer confirmation. Some people hugged him before they even looked at the numbers. I stared at my untouched envelope. The estate wasn't his to sell, it had never been his. 3 years earlier, after our father died, the property had passed into a trust. I was the sole owner. The paperwork had been reviewed more times than I could count, because the estate had become tied to an environmental preservation agreement along the coastline. Selling it required my direct authorization, notarized documents, and multiple legal approvals. I had signed nothing. For months, Daniel had acted strangely whenever the property came up. He always said lawyers were handling the details and dismissed my questions as unnecessary complications. I wanted to interrupt his speech. Instead, I stayed quiet, not because I doubted myself. Because I knew facts survive longer than arguments. Daniel kept talking about investment opportunities, family vacations, and fresh starts. Every sentence made him sound more certain. Everyone listened because certainty is persuasive, especially when money is involved. Then his phone vibrated across the table. He smiled. Probably another buyer. Without thinking, he pressed speaker. A calm voice answered. "Mr. Thorne? Speaking. This is Special Agent Collins with the Federal Bureau of Investigation." The room froze. "We are calling regarding a forged power of attorney used during the attempted transfer of an oceanfront property. We have confirmed irregularities with the notarized documents. We are contacting the legal owner and coordinating with local authorities. Units are being dispatched to your location." Nobody moved. Daniel's smile disappeared so completely it seemed to leave the room with it. There must be some mistake," he whispered. "The investigation indicates otherwise," the agent replied evenly. "We advise you not to destroy documents or communicate with anyone involved until officers arrive." The call ended. Silence settled over the table. No one reached for another glass. No one opened another envelope. My mother looked from Daniel to me, confusion replacing celebration. "What does this mean?" I finally spoke. "It means I never authorized the sale." No anger, no raised voice, just the truth. Questions came all at once. When did this happen? Who prepared the documents? Why would anyone forge your signature? Daniel answered none of them. He simply stared at the transfer confirmations scattered across the table as though seeing them for the first time. 20 minutes later, investigators arrived. They identified themselves, requested documents, collected phones voluntarily offered for review, and asked everyone to remain available for statements. Their professionalism changed the atmosphere more than their badges did. There was no dramatic confrontation. Just procedure. One investigator introduced himself to me separately. "You are the recorded owner?" "Yes." He compared my identification with the trust records already in his possession. "Thank you. We'll need a formal statement." I nodded. Across the room, Daniel avoided my eyes. For years, I had believed the hardest part of being underestimated was convincing people they were wrong. I learned that evening it wasn't. The hardest part was watching people realize, on their own, that they had believed confidence instead of evidence. The investigation lasted months. The fraudulent sale was voided before ownership changed hands. The transfer payments were reversed. Several professionals involved faced scrutiny for failing to verify critical documents. Daniel's case moved through the legal system without me needing to demand punishment or revenge. My role remained simple: answer questions honestly, provide records, tell the truth once. Family gatherings changed after that, not because everyone suddenly trusted me. Trust doesn't return as quickly as paperwork. Some relatives apologized. Others stayed quiet, embarrassed by how quickly they had celebrated something that was never theirs to divide. A few still searched for explanations that made the situation easier to accept. I stopped trying to manage their feelings. The ocean estate still overlooks the same stretch of water it always has. The waves don't remember family arguments. They arrive, retreat, and return with the same quiet rhythm. Standing there months later, I realized reclaiming ownership hadn't restored the family I thought I'd lost. But it had restored something I needed even more. My name remained attached to the truth. And this time, that was enough.